Hello and welcome to the Time Is Now podcast. Today I have a very interesting guest. I've known Vicki for many years now. We have a lot in common. Um, Pretty well, both of us tell it the way it is. So I'm going to turn it over to Vicki. She'll give us a brief introduction of some of the things she does, and then we'll just get right into it. Vicki?
Hi, I'm Vicki. I'm Born Awake Oracle. You can find me on Instagram and Clapper. Um, for 55 years, I've been doing cartomancy. I do animal communication. I do Toracle, which is a combination of Oracle and Tarot cards in one. I do Oracle and Tarot cards. I am a psychic medium. I also do clear energy. And basically, what I do is if you're looking to change your life for the better or find out um, what's going on, what's blocking you, then I'm the person that you would come to see. Or if you'd like a message from a relative to let you know that they're there watching over you. Um, and explain any paranormal situations that are going on if you're having any in life. So that's basically what I do for
Wonderful.
for now.
That's
Hmm.
wonderful. And I noticed on
Thank
your
you.
Instagram, what was the initials? ORDM? What is that?
Ordained or ordained, that's the initials for ordained minister.
Oh, okay. So you can do
Yes,
weddings
I
and things.
yes, weddings, funerals, things like that, yeah.
Okay. One of
So
the things that,
it comes in handy when you're doing paranormal cases because I work with a bishop. I work with a bishop and he calls upon me to come in, when he's doing paranormal cases and things like that. So
yeah, that's interesting. I think paranormal activity's on the rise again. It was years ago, and then I don't know what happened, but I see it happening more and more, and a lot of people want to know. You want to maybe explain a bit about it, what it can involve? Like, what is
well,
paranormal activity?
paranormal activity could be anything from a very strong residual energy left in an environment. It can come from some severe trauma. It could come from evil. It could come from like a huge battle. Um, it's a very strong energy. Also, it has to do with demons. It can be with, I call them lost souls because they don't know they've passed over or they are here to take and have somebody help them either cross over or help them solve their murder or to let their parents know or their relatives know where their body is. It's a combination of several different things. But also there's paranormal activity that involve aliens and other dimensional beings. See that, and this is something that I'm going to jump into right really quick because a lot of people think that when there's paranormal activity, it's specific things. It's a ghost, it's a poltergeist, it's a demon, it's a spirit, and that's not always the case. Sometimes it is another dimensional being that or alien that what we use as tools to try to get rid or cast out, ghosts and demons and things like that, it doesn't work on them. And not everything that is here that has been given to us as a sacred tool works all the time. And I also, people seem to think that when you say, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, that it works all the time. And that is not the case. It doesn't work all the time. I mean, I've been in some houses where furniture was being thrown, people's hairs were being pulled, curtains ripping off the wall, a cat thrown across the room, and there is no rebuking in the name of Jesus and stuff. And I mean, I'm very selective on some of the cases that I go to. And people ask why I charge so much. It's because I got to travel. It's because I got to purchase the right, what my guides advised me to bring with me. But also, it leaves me very susceptible to being having it attached to me and me having to deal with it afterwards too. See?
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot more to it. I've done a little bit of that myself, and in my experience, through my whole spiritual energetic work that I do, it's all been interdimensional. I don't have any
Mm-hmm.
problems with passed on spirits, or it's always been something deeper. and
Mm-hmm.
the tools don't always work. You know,
Nope.
I remember years
Thank
ago.
you.
Well, yeah, one of the well, the one that lady that first taught me, and the first time I went on a house clearing, I got a call that my younger brother was in major problems, and I took that as an obstacle to prevent me from going on this house clearing. So I went to the
Mm-hmm.
house clearing anyways, and I came out with claw marks on my back. And I was with a
Yeah.
lady that really knew what she was doing, and she was going on. I was asking her about holy water and this, and she goes, "Holy water actually is beads of water that reflects and amplifies some of the evil that's out there. You don't just go whipping holy
Yes.
water around."
Yes, that's exactly what I just said in a comment where somebody was saying in voodoo and hoodoo and all these other practices and stuff to put a glass of water with salt in it behind your door or under your bed, or you can use a comfort cube in the water too. And I was like, it doesn't work. And I was like, let's think about this. If you have water, it acts as a conduit. It amplifies. And if you have a paranormal activity there and you're not sure what it is, like I'm going to use an example. The last place that I lived at, Jody, it was so haunted. The property was haunted. There was two portholes outside. There was two portals that were already there before I moved in, and one in my closet and one in my bathroom. And I've posted a couple of pics before in the past of what was coming out of my closet and everything. But I was pushed. My health was under attack and everything like that. I was held down under in water, and nothing I did. Even the bishop said this is he was two door he was my neighbor, and he lived 2 units down from me in the same building. And he said, Vicky, what's here? He said, it's really strong. And it tried to attack him one night, one day when he was laying down taking a nap. He woke up and felt like he had bugs crawling all over him, and he knew that he was under attack and things. So, and several people moved out from there. But the thing is if you have a portal, not all portals you can close. Okay. Some portals are so big, they're a whole town, they're a whole city, they're blocks. See, and the only way you can close them is if you have tons and tons of people that know what they're doing and you're all coming together doing the exact same thing at the same time. Where are you going to get 10,000 people to close down, a portal that's a town? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a
Knowing
good
the
point.
state.
That's a very good point. And maybe a lot of this coming to light now, and I'll say becoming more active, is because of the
Mm-hmm.
mindsets of the masses of people. There's
Right.
no faith anymore in a lot of them. There's no belief. And I want to say too, like when I used to go into these, my guides or what the information that came to me said, take your tools, but you have to be able to, if you lost everything in a second, you got to be able to hold your own. And I
Mm-hmm.
tell people, like, I didn't go doing these house clearings all the time, and I'll speak to what you said earlier. I'm very selective when if the person isn't of the right mindset that's asking for the service, it's going back as soon as you leave. So
Right.
I'm very selective, and I don't do them very often. It's not a
I
game.
don't do. Yeah, no, it's not. It's very serious, and people don't understand. It can affect your animals. It can affect your own home with your family if you have people living with you. I
Yeah,
mean, I had people that were clients were like, "Well, I want to come over and see what's going on," and I'm like, "No, I don't let anybody come over. In fact, I didn't even let the bishop come in anymore. I only let him come to the door with everything that was going on, and he respected that. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
I was trying to protect those people because I mean, it got very, very violent, very, very violent. And it took me 7 years to save up money to get out of there because it
yeah.
was that bad. Other mediums and psychics were literally seeing the demons and the things walking across the room behind me when I was, on a video call with them and things. But another thing that I'd like to bring up too, Jody, is you said about how the paranormal has gotten worse, right? And things. It's because in 2012 they fired up CERN.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you felt the energy change or not. There's 23 CERNs in different countries. The one, I think is it Switzerland that has the biggest one? The
I
one,
think, yeah, I think
okay,
so.
yeah. And then they have them CERNs throughout the USA in each state too, but they're not called CERNs, they're called laboratories.
Mm.
And the time before the last time they fired up the CERN, the big one, they fired up one in South Carolina that was a lab called Laboratory something. And every time they fire these up, they're not only letting entities, demonic entities in, but they're what they're trying to do is they're trying to collapse realms. You understand what I'm saying? They're trying to collapse all these different realms and things into one, bringing hell upon earth more so than what it already is. And they're also opening up portals. And then you got these people out here doing playing with Ouija boards, uh, saying, well, I bless it, and on and on and on. It doesn't matter if you bless it. I had a friend that I went over to her house, and she blessed her Ouija board, and I didn't know she was playing on it. And I was invited over for dinner. I was late. I come in there. I start to walk through the door. I have my head, my upper torso through the door, and all of a sudden, I see him at the dining room table, and they got this Ouija board out, and there's like six of them sitting around the dining room table. And at first, I didn't see what they were doing, and then they started screaming when the I don't know what that thing's called that they use for the Ouija board, but it moves and stuff starts spelling things out and everything. They screamed when it moved and everything, and I was like, oh no! And the next thing I know, I literally see this black shadow demon come crawling out of the Ouija board. Now, the next thing that happens is not even a week later, her house is infested with fleas. Her walls were black from fleas. She never had a flea problem. See, that's all part of demonic activity.
Yeah.
See, and things. So she ended up having to. They had to call a couple of companies, and she ended up having to throw a lot of her stuff out because it was that bad. It was that bad. The walls were like black with fleas, and she also told me that when she went outside to get wood for their wood stove, that she saw this creature like had claw type things and arms coming out, and it was trying to hover over the top of the wood pile, and it had red eyes and demonic pointed ears and stuff. I didn't stay. I left. I shut the door and I left because I didn't want any part of that, because people aren't going to listen until they find out the hard way.
Yeah. Um, I also know from watching your content, you take photographs of buildings and you can see spirits show up in the photos.
Mm-hmm. I actually see spirits with literally with my eyes, and I call it my first eye, what people call third eye, because this is originally our first eye. These are our third eyes. Okay. And the thing is I can literally see them walking around, and if I don't see them with my eye, I see them in my third eye, my first eye, excuse me, my first eye up here. But 99.9 tenths of the time I see them with my eyes, and those pictures are actually from videos of abandoned houses
Mm.
that people take off of that people take, and they post them on Instagram, and then I just look at it and I zoom in, and there it is. And so I circle it and I share it and everything. And I try to educate people on how to tell if there's demonic energy in a home or extensive residual energy in a home just by looking through the window or at a picture. See?
Yeah. I used to clear houses for real estate agents. Houses that wouldn't sell, they'd call me, we do our stuff, and they'd sell.
Yeah. There's a lot of people don't understand. Everything you do in your home is energy, where everything is energy. Everything is energy. So you leave your shadow print there. Okay, I call it a shadow print. You leave a shadow print of your energy there. No matter where you go, whether you live there, you're visiting, you're traveling, whatever, you leave a shadow print of your energy as you go, a trail as you go. That's why I advise people to clear your energies when you come home. Do a body check and clear your energies. Cut cords, dig in and cut the roots out. Everything we do is energy. It's an attachment. See, everything is energy and an energy attachment. And people don't understand that. And it can drain you. It can drain you.
Yeah. Um, would you be able to, do a short explanation on how people would clear their energy and assume that they don't have an understanding of it?
Okay, well, first off, I always advise people to take like a spiritual bath. Take a spiritual bath and then come in and lay down on your bed. And there's several different meditations you can do. They're short meditations to help you relax your body and help walk you through how to do a scan of your body to detect if energy's off. And energy being off can be like a pain, a specific jolt of pain in your body. It could be swelling in your body. It could be anything, okay, in your body that just isn't off where it's bringing you down, okay? And just lay down and do that meditation, and then scan yourself, and then you ask your angels to come in. I usually say Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel, and to come in and clear the cords, cut the cords, and then bring in the healing angels where they come in and envision a white light coming in, and they're digging out the roots throughout your body of where the cords were cut off at. And then you ask for the green light to come in and to fill those holes where the roots were, where the cords were connected. And then you meditate on it and you ask for it to heal. You cut the cords and to free yourself of any pain, suffering, or connections that you've had throughout the day that have held you down or keep popping up in your head. Have you ever been someplace and some situation keeps popping up in your head all the time and it just gets on your nerves no matter where you're at? That is an energetic cord. See? And an energetic cord isn't just in your shoulders or in your heart or in your throat, your third eye, at the crown of your head. It can be all over your body. It could be at your knees. It could be at your feet. See? So that's what I advise doing. That's what I would advise doing. And it does work. I used to do it all the time, all the time. So,
Okay. I have another question for our listeners, and I
mhm,
know like I have some friends too that are going through this. They're
mhm,
seeking information. They're having experiences. Um, they don't know what to do with it. So they have gone, many of them have gone and joined spiritualist church organizations and taken mediumship, but they don't fit
mhm.
in. They don't fit in because their experiences are different. I think the spiritualist church approach to it is more like passed on relatives. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's more that kind of thing. And a lot of people are having, I'll use the word alien or interdimensional communication. They just know things and they're trying to find a place to get information. Can you give any advice?
I don't know if I could give you any advice on where to go, but one thing I would suggest is start your own group. Start up your own group. Write in a description of what you're experiencing and invite those people that are having the same, experiences in so you guys can get some form of peace going. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And understanding going. We don't need these big buildings to meet at. We don't need to be sitting in a building and saying you have to listen to this Bible or because a past relative passed away. This is all about mediumship and da da da. Mediumship extends beyond just this realm of the dead people and what's going on here. It could be, aliens communication. It could be anything, actually, you see. So just having it narrowed down to being about spirit and pass on loved ones and, what's Billy Bob going to do with my spare tire after, he takes it off the car. That's just a little humor there. Um, it's about, otherworldly communication. I would honestly start a group up. And I guarantee you, you start up a group and put in a description and explain a little bit about what you are going through and everything, and leave it open, and you'll find your tribe. You'll find your tribe. You know what I mean? Look at you. Look at you. You talk about Arturians, right?
right?
And you've got a lot of people that come in and, don't they? They talk about their experiences, or they want to know more information about it.
You'd be surprised how few do.
Oh, wow.
You wouldn't believe it. Over 80,000 followers, and
Uh-huh.
nobody's asking me questions.
Huh.
So I find
See,
that
some,
very, very odd. I don't know if they are not seeing the posts or what, but so I'm getting
it's
ready.
probably,
I'm getting ready to start it up again. I had a group on Zoom where we got together, and then it just died off real quick. So I'm getting ready to
huh,
start it again. I got two other people that want to come in, one in Kentucky, I think, and one in Alabama. Um,
huh.
so I'm there. I've always put myself out there, but it's just I don't know. I
Yeah,
think spirituality, especially on social media, has become entertainment.
yeah, it has. It's become, I'm not being mean or anything, and don't take this
Yeah.
wrong. Remember how we have Bibles and things like that? And then it got to the point where people would just be thumping you over the head with the Bible. Everything is the Bible, 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 Bible. And
Yep.
it became commercialized, I guess you might say. And that's the same thing with spirituality. It's become commercialized, and people are out there putting false information out there. Um, they're taking other people's information and trying to make it into their own and twisting it a little bit because they can't remember what the original person said, where they got the information from. And it's not a joke. It's something sacred, and every one of our journeys is different. Every one of our journeys is different, and it's to be treated sacredly. And it's about finding our tribe within that spiritual community and things. And I just can't buy into a lot of the stuff that's being said. I stick with Native American, um, and African American spiritual beliefs.
Yeah, I seen that you do shamanism too.
Yes, I do. I have healing hands, and that's why I don't touch anybody.
Yeah.
It sounds terrible, but that's why I don't touch anybody. I mean, I don't allow anybody to touch me, and I don't allow anybody to touch my dog.
Hmm.
It sounds weird, but if somebody comes up to me and they're sick or they're not feeling well, I can absorb that and I take that on, and here they walk away feeling better. And I'm sick with that. Or if they touch my dog, that energy goes to my dog. It messes with his energy. And then if I pet him, I get it.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah.
So I actually helped a lady. She had severe back problems and she could hardly even get up or even sit for long periods of time. And she had bladder control issues. And after I helped her, I ended up taking on those symptoms. And that's not something that, you know, that's something I'm very selective about working with and everything. Just like people don't understand shamans, the highest form of a shaman can literally pull demons out of a person's body without trapping it inside themselves. And I was on another podcast that spoke about it, and the gentleman that I was with, he even said that he actually witnessed that, and he's like, it's mind blowing. And I said, yeah, that's the highest form of a shaman. But there's a lot of people out there that are shaman practitioners, and then there's people that are shamans. And people don't understand the difference. Shaman practitioners, they study the ways of a shaman. A shaman is somebody that can walk between both worlds. They can heal. They bring healing medicine from the other realms down into this realm. They bring healing words and things. They can be by themselves and, connected with the other realms and listening. And You see what I'm saying?
Totally understand. Yeah,
They have that gift, and there's a lot of people claiming they're shamans, and they're not. They're shaman practitioners who studied the ways of shamanic history and culture.
totally agree. I was at a sweat lodge years ago, and they were telling stories about some elders down in the desert, and they got together and came together and they threw their eagle feathers on the ground. And then they just started moving their hands, and the feathers stood up and started dancing around. Like authentic shamans are incredible. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
multi-dimensional. It's, I believe a lot of it, you have to be born into it. It's not you take a course and maybe if you
Yeah,
practice it, you make it a way of life for your lifetime, maybe, but
you have to be selected.
I think so.
You're handpicked from the divine, and it is from what I understand, it's generational um, through, I believe, the Native American culture where they pick somebody of that bloodline too. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but also, I've had people say, "Well, you're not a shaman, you're not native," and things, but people need to understand there are shamans in many different cultures. Asian culture, Native American culture, African American culture, Norse culture. Okay. And then there's people that have been a shaman many lifetimes and it shows up in their birth chart.
Yeah,
And that's what I was in a past life. I was a shaman in a past life, and it shows up in my birth chart now too.
yeah, I kind of refer to that too as the great deception. Nobody knows whose spirit they're standing in front of. You can't go by their physical form or where they were born. And that's like creators disguising us all, you know? But
Right, right.
the true and the authentic, usually they don't talk a lot, but when they're called
Hmm.
upon, they're there.
Right. That's correct.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Vicki, do you do any
Absolutely
work
right.
with animals?
I do. I do communication work with animals. I had one lady call me. It was a case where her dog got out during a really bad snowstorm and it got lost. And they thought they lost it and they searched for it for like 4 days. And she said, "You're a psychic medium. Can you see where he's at?" And I said, "Yeah, he fell down a cliff and you can't see him from the path. You It overhangs it, but he fell down the cliff and he's on this ledge and he's laying there and he's injured." And I said, "So make sure that," and the cliff goes up. And she goes, "Well, there's only one hiking trail that goes up like that." And she goes, "It's got a really bad drop off." So they sent like 6 people out searching for their dog, and they actually found the dog. And she messaged me back, and she goes, "Thank you so much." I guess it broke its leg too,
Oh,
but they saved the dog and everything. And then I had another lady where she couldn't figure out what was going on with her dog and the hearing. And it turns out that I told her, I said, "It's the food. Get him off of the get him off the
I hear a dog.
oh yeah, because I got packages coming,
Wow.
and so they rang the door to let me know so they don't get stolen. There's at my door. So anyway, um, I told her to get it off the food. It's the food that's causing the ear problems. As soon as she took him off the food, the dog's ears got better and
Oh,
everything. So yeah, so things like that. If an animal's acting up or anything like that, doesn't like somebody in your home, it'll tell me why and things. So yeah. So, but not too many people believe in that. So I don't get a lot of clients wanting that service. You know what I mean?
well, I believe in it through experience with animals, and I believe the animals, well, especially the ones around my place, they're all changing. Rabbits come up to me, birds come up to me, robins follow me. It's like there's an intelligence there for sure, I think.
Well, there is, but your light's shining a lot brighter too. Your
Mm.
spiritual gifts are shining a lot brighter too. And that you attract the animals. I'm pretty sure you'll attract children too.
Mm.
See,
Yeah.
because they see that light. So you have a very enchanted yard. I remember we very first met on TikTok and it was over your yard and I said that you had fairies there.
Yeah. You
And
know,
we talked a little bit about fairies. And you got that one little old man fairy with the beard. He is like right by you like this.
yeah, I'd like to know
He
more about it. I'd like to know more about that.
he whittles a lot. He whittles a lot. He
Yeah,
whittles a lot. And he's around you when you go into your workshop area.
yeah,
Yeah. And he just hangs out with you. He sits there and he's got like a little pipe that he smokes too. Do you ever smell smoke or anything when you
yeah, I
like little
do.
spoots of smoke? Yeah. Well, it's him. He kind of looks like that a little emoji guy with the pointed hat,
Yeah,
with the beard. He kind of looks like that. Yeah. But he's got a little tummy on him and everything like that. And he's a talker. He'll sit there and he just talks away. Tuck, 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 tuck. He'll puff on his little pipe. He hangs out around one of the rocks. It's circular. You got a circular rock,
yeah,
and then there's this bush in this one corner. Bush in this one corner. It's like this one section that's way back in one section of your yard, and a lot of the fairies hang out there. It's very majestic. It's like when I see it, I could walk through it and be in the fairy realm. Is what
yeah.
I'm. What I yeah.
I got a
So
stone circle back there. I have a, what do you call a conundrum? We're gonna
uh-huh.
have to move out of here eventually because they're building next door, and we could
Yeah.
get our notice any day. So
Oh no.
we got a place up north we can move everything to, eh? It was my parents' house, and we started working on the energy up there.
Uh-huh.
Had an experience with a deer showed up in the backyard here, and then when we went up north, the deer showed up right there. It's like something was communicating with me. So I
Mm-hmm.
did some stuff. I did some energy work. I do it gradually. I don't do it all at once. And they know
Mm-hmm.
the transition's coming. So I'm gonna have to. I've already made a video. I'm gonna post that. It's the last couple months that the Arcturian Star Lodge will be here. I have to take it down and move it.
They will be coming with you.
That's what I'm
They
hoping.
just told me, no, they will be coming with you. You've got to invite the
Yeah,
fairies and the animal spirits to come with you, but they will be coming with you. But make sure you invite them to let them know, because their fairies have personalities just like human beings. They have health issues just like human beings. There's feisty ones, there's evil ones, there's loving ones, there's shy ones. I mean, I've got over 100 fairies that live with me, and the first three that I got, two of them were very, very shy, and one was so feisty, she would literally fly up my nose, and I thought it was a bug, and I would be like, "What in the world?" And then one day I went in my bathroom at the other place, and I thought there was a fly, and it wasn't, and I saw her legs and her wings and her little head, and I almost hit her, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Bee." And her name's Bee. There's my first ones were Bee, Petra, and Lily. Lily was so shy, and Petra was too, and Bee was the outgoing one, the one that would bop me on my nose, fly around my head, come up and bop me on my nose, and you know fly around in the bathroom and things like that, and I'd see their colors and everything and their wings, and then all of a sudden I got a whole bunch of them because the fairy council sent a whole bunch of them in to help protect me on what was going on at that place. And then I got a few feisty ones that came in that thought that they were going to bully the other fairy community, and the fairy community put up with it. And I was like, finally they came to me, and I was like, nope, you're out of here, and I cast them out.
yeah. I had an experience up north. These ones were about 2.5, maybe 3 feet tall, and they had a path that they walked on. And I had recently seen a video where a lady said that, oh, fairies migrate. Once winter's there, they're gone. These ones said they were staying.
No, they don't. You got
Yeah,
to understand something, Jody. People make up a lot of stuff to make it sound like they know a lot about a lot,
yeah,
and they don't. If a fairy feels comfortable, first off, fairies are very, you have to prove yourself to them. Do you understand? You have to prove that you're a good
totally.
spirit, a good soul. You respect the earth. You respect, other dimensional beings, like fairies, or you don't necessarily have to believe in them at first. You can, but they want to see if you notice the signs, like the ladybugs, the dragonflies, the hummingbirds, because a lot of them ride on those too. They just don't fly
100%.
around, they ride on them too
100%.
and stuff. Or the images that you get, like when you lay down at night and you see a fairy in your mind's eye sitting on the windowsill. You see what I'm saying? They want to see if you're going to acknowledge that. They're going to want to see if you're going to pick up garbage. You know, notice the wildlife. Take moments to quiet down within yourself and things. You have to gain their trust. And once you gain their trust, then you just open the door. You know what I mean? And they'll be there for quite a long time. So I mean, it's like my fairy B. She used to be with a little boy who had cancer until he passed away, and then she came into my life.
Mm. I know
See,
I used to put, well, I do, little stones, just a stack of maybe 3 stones, 4 inches high. And I put them around the property. And I used to go around and put offerings on for the fairies. They acknowledge that I knew they were there. And I had a tree fall down. It was about 2.5 feet in diameter. And it fell down and it didn't hit the deck. It didn't hit the deck steps. And it didn't hit that little pile of stones. It had like a 6 foot window. And I swear,
well,
I got pictures of this that the fairies interacted and took care of it, eh?
oh yeah, they were protecting you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what's weird? I got to bring this up. The last video you posted, and I left a comment on there. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I hope he doesn't have to end up moving. And then you just brought up that you're going to be moving.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm
that's
I'm
that
I'm
was like,
work I'm working on getting in shape because those stones aren't light.
do you have friends that can help you move them or something?
Nobody ever helps me. I end up doing it myself. I talk
Well,
to
if I
the
was there, I'd help you.
I talk to the stones. They talk to me. I got a whole process that I do, eh? And Vicky,
Yeah.
somehow they're not heavy. I move them. I've
Well,
moved stuff in my life.
yeah.
I'll give you an example. I did a job as a metal finisher for a while where I use like
Hmm.
a rotating belt sander on stainless steel turbine blades and polish them up. And people say, "Well, how the heck are you doing such a good job in a week?" I said, "Because
Hmm.
I talk to the metal." And it's the same thing.
Hmm.
Like, there's consciousness or life essence in everything. And if we can
Yes.
try and bond with that, life is
Hmm.
different.
That is correct. That's what I tell people. There's worlds inside of worlds inside of worlds inside of this world. And
Absolutely.
everything is alive, whether you want to believe it or not. And it's quite amazing if you could connect. If you could connect, you could do so many different things that seem magical to other people, but other if other people would do the same thing, they could be able to do it too. You know,
I know, and
but
that's the thing.
it's connecting. But see, that's the thing, Jody, is a lot of people want instant gratification turnout. It's like I'll explain it to you. It's like when you go cast out a demon or an entity, they expect it to be done in 3 to 5 minutes, no more than an hour, because I got to go pick up the kids and I don't have time for this. And I'm like, I'll tell them this: it can take anywhere from 3 minutes to 2 days to 4 months, depending on how drastic the situation is and what all you got going on there. And there is no guarantee. So you called me, we're running on my time, not your time. Otherwise, we're going to have to cancel this because by the time you get done, I don't know if it ever happened to you, but the last clearing that I did, it took 4 hours, and we finally got it out. And by the time I made it home, I was so exhausted. Um, I almost fell asleep driving. I shouldn't have drove, but I did. And thank God I was only 45 minutes away from where I lived. By the time I got in the door, and I just crashed on my bed. I didn't even eat dinner. I didn't wake up until 9 o'clock the next morning. I was so exhausted. My friend that I did the house clearing for, she called me. She was worried that something happened to me because, I mean, she saw stuff that she didn't ever think she'd see out of her lifetime happen. and her husband and stuff. They were blown away and stuff. So she was really worried about me. But people want instant gratification, and that's not going to happen. It just depends on the spirit, the strength, the demon, the strength, how many are there. Because generally, when you got one demon, you got an army of demons.
Yeah. And
You
that's the
get rid of
thing.
one, they bring back their army, and
You know,
you better be prepared.
everything when you get involved in this kind of thing, there's always a fee to be paid. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I don't take it lightly and I don't do it often. But if somebody was in trouble, somehow
Mm-hmm.
they find me, the real ones find me, and then we do what we do, right? But Vic,
Exactly.
we're really getting on the time. Can you tell people how they can get a hold of you?
You can find me on Instagram at Born Awake Oracle, or you can find me on Clapper at Born Awake Oracle, or even YouTube at Born Awake Oracle.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and my website link is in the bio on Instagram.
So if I take that link, can I put it on the post when I put up the podcast?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that link should work. So I'll put that on there and they can get can they get everything from your website?
Yes, you could even if they want to contact me, they can even believe I have it set up where they can send me a message. I mean, I
Okay.
love talking to people. If people have a question and I can help them through a question, that's perfectly fine. That I consider free. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And stuff. I don't mind doing that. I don't charge for that because sometimes it's just a question. It brings them a peace of mind, that they're not the only ones going through this out there.
absolutely.
So.
Do you have any final things you want to talk about?
Do you?
Oh, I think we're good. We covered a lot. And I know there's a lot more, so I'm
Okay.
going to get you back on again. But I try to,
Okay. Yeah. Why don't we end it here? Because like I said, they dropped off
yeah,
packages here, and I
okay.
don't want them to get them stolen. And I would love to come back and share some more. And I really appreciate you be letting me be on here, Jody.
Oh,
I really respect you, and I really appreciate you. You have a very, very good channel when I was on YouTube before they banned me. Not YouTube. Excuse me,
TikTok?
TikTok. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed. Yeah, I really enjoyed you on there, and I enjoy seeing you on Instagram. So I appreciate you.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
When I turn off the recording, Vicky, don't go away. I want to say something to you after this is off.
Okay.
Okay, so let
Okay.
me say goodbye to everyone.
Okay.
This has been the Time Is Now podcast, and I want to thank everyone for joining us and listening to us, and thank you all for your support. We look forward to talking to you again soon.